Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you very much for watching today's lifestyle. This is cooking time. I'm Fatima Shamili. Inshallah, today we are going to be doing some really healthy cookies, oatmeal cookies, and we will share some ahadith in this regard and regarding the ingredients that we are going to use, inshallah. So today we are going to start with our herbal drink. One of the ways that we like to make tea at home a lot, especially that's how my dad usually makes it, and it turns out really nice, is with using dried rose petals or rose flowers. These things really, they smell amazing, and when you put them in your tea, they actually give a great smell. And also research has proven that this actually rose petals are good for Alzheimer's, and using them like in your diet daily. We Iranians use a lot of dried rose petals. We use them in some kinds of mixed rice. We use them in our herbal drinks.
Yes.
We use them on our yogurt. You can also use rose water essence that you can find in most supermarkets in the Asian section. And I'm adding some dried just some good quality
I think the rose essence could be a little overpowering, no? As compared to
you have to be careful when
yeah.
using rose essence. Like 1 tablespoon would be enough. Something else that I really like using in my tea is, especially when I'm in the West and I don't have this necessarily access to this, I use citrus flower blossoms, the essence of that, bahar and orange.
Yes.
And that smells really
that's
amazing.
really great. It reminds me of Shiraz, actually.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. The blossoms of Shiraz. And a few petals of our saffron. And we all know how great saffron is for the health. Okay, so for today's cookies, we are going to be doing oatmeal cookies. And I know that there are lots and lots of recipes for oatmeal cookies out there, and it's just enough to type it and Google will give you so much information. But I actually wanted something that was low in fat, low in sugar, and that I just wanted to talk about some ingredients that we are going to use and their benefits and how healthy they are. So when I want to make a dessert, well, not all desserts, some desserts are very high in terms of fat and sugar and everything, but when I'm doing cookies and I know that my 3-year-old will be eating them, I am really careful about making it as healthy as I can so that he doesn't say, "Mom, it tastes bitter and I don't want it." But when he's chewing on a cookie and he comes to me asking for more, I will happily give it to him because it's healthy stuff. It's like an energy bomb.
Yes.
It's like a snack that he can have and eat, and I will feel completely happy about it that I'm feeding something like this to my son. So this is the recipe that I'm gonna share with you after a lot of research, after a lot of experimenting and tweaking in the kitchen. Here we go. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'm going to start with 1 stick of butter. Usually cookies, especially the ones that don't have oatmeal, they use a lot more butter, but I think that 1 stick of butter functions. Of course, the more butter you add, the sort of creamier and the more buttery it will be and softer, but I think that this 1 stick works perfectly fine. So here I have half a cup of...
Sorry, 1 stick is how many grams?
1 stick is 112 grams.
112
I think
grams.
even you could do 100 grams. Yeah,
Okay.
100 grams of butter. So here I have half a cup of packed dark brown sugar, cane sugar that we're using. You can use white sugar in this recipe. I've just used 1 tablespoon because I sort of wanted to balance the taste. And I just want to tell you something about this recipe, that it will look a little darker than the usual oatmeal cookies that you're used to, and that's because of the sugar. And that's perfectly fine because it sort of gives this caramelly flavor and it's healthy. So for the white sugar, you can go as far as using half a cup of white sugar, but I don't like really sweet tasting desserts, so I'm just gonna add that much. So we are just going to sort of cream together the butter and the sugar. In a separate bowl, I have my my rolled oats. Now remember, we are not using instant oats or quick oats because those they will absorb a lot of the liquid of our ingredients, and they're just going to turn into a mess. You know, so be careful that we are using rolled old-fashioned oats. To this 2 cups of rolled oats, I'm going to add 1 cup of flour along with 1 tablespoon of wheat bran. You can also use whole wheat, but this is what I do instead of the whole wheat, right? I use white flour and then I add the whole wheat. I'm going to give that a quick mix. We're going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder. I'm going to add that. I'm going to add to this my wheat germ, 1 tablespoon of wheat germ, and 1 tablespoon of malt powder. Now remember, like I said, this is a super healthy recipe, which is pretty low in sugar, and the sugar that we're using is really healthy. So by adding the wheat germ and the bran and the malt powder, we are actually sort of like increasing the health benefits.
Yes.
All right, now for the add-ins. This is the fun part of making oatmeal cookies, because it's completely up to you. You can make, you can add whatever you like to it, but be careful not to like overdose your batter with too much add-ins, because then it'll just turn out dry and it'll fall apart, right? So here I'm adding dates, and it's really interesting that how nutritious and valuable in terms of like the food value, the nutritious value, dates are, because there I was reading a hadith from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam who said the house that doesn't have dates is a hungry house. And then also we see the story of Lady Maryam, who is giving birth, and what, like, the tree that Allah grows, the fruit that Allah gives her at that moment that you really, like, your body's really weak and you need the sort of most compact kind of food, he gives her dates. So these are the things that I like to mix, and I would like to give you an idea. So I'm using the maximum kind of ingredients, number of ingredients that I can use. I'm using dates, and be careful when the dates that you choose. They should be sort of like a dry one, because we're replacing them with chocolate chips. So we don't want them to go all gooey and mushy and everything. Now these are black raisins, and black raisins are amazing for one's memory. They're actually really good to be consumed while you're pregnant, to give to your children. These are almonds that I've lightly toasted. So this is a 1/4 cup of, a third of a cup of chopped pitted dates, a 1/4 cup of raisins, about 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, and flaxseed, it's better, like you have to sort of grind it, otherwise the nutritious value, it'll just go down your digestive system. It won't really be absorbed into your body. And 1/2 cup of Iranian good quality almonds that we've crushed and lightly toasted. We actually mixed our egg with the vanilla inside here. Now here I have a 1/4 cup of honey. So as you see, the sweetness of this cookie doesn't only come from the sugar. Like I said, we added a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar and 1 tablespoon of white sugar. You can go ahead and add up to 1/2 cup of white sugar. I think that's a ridiculous amount of sugar it's like doing zulm to your own body. So this is a 1/4 cup of honey. Now, unfortunately, in Iran, we don't have maple syrup, and I really miss that from Canada.
Yeah, it has a very...
It has a really, really... It's
beneficial taste, even.
Okay, so here, remember what we said about... we were using... we were doing the strawberry donuts that I said if you want your add-in to sort of not sink to the bottom, you have to add it, you have to mix it with your flour. That's what we did with our add-ins here, our raisins and our dates. Otherwise, they would get heavy and they would sort of sink to the bottom. I'm going to add my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients, and I'm gonna mix them. This cookie dough doesn't need chilling because it's actually quite a firm dough. And if you want even baking and if you want even size of cookies, you can use a cookie scoop. Like sorry, I have to disappear again. The
cookie scoop,
an ice cream scoop that I actually used. So you want to get the same size of cookies all over. You scoop them, you place them, and they will spread a little bit, not much. So you have to sort of put some distance between each cookie and flatten them on the top with your hand. And it goes inside the oven, 175 degrees or 300 degrees. You have to bake it on the top third rack of the oven. I'm going to put these both together and I'm going to rotate them halfway through. They will be done, they should be done in around 9 minutes, but you have to see your oven. We have an electric oven here, so it's actually hotter and it might bake faster. Go ahead, do your work.